When I first moved into the neighborhood, I thought I had found the perfect place to settle down. The streets were lined with neatly trimmed hedges, the lawns were green and uniform, and the houses sparkled like they were taken straight from a magazine. My golden retriever, Max, loved it even more than I did. Every morning, we'd go for a jog, and every evening, he'd lay happily under the oak tree in my front yard, wagging his tail at neighbors who passed by. But behind the tidy perfection of the community, there was something lurking in HOA that ruled with an iron fist. I had heard whispers from other residents about outrageous fines and strange restrictions, but I brushed it off, thinking as long as I followed the rules, I'd be fine. Little did I know, Max would become their next target. One afternoon, I came home from work to find an official-looking envelope taped to my front door. At first, I thought it was some kind of welcome letter or neighborhood update, but when I opened it, my jaw dropped. The HOA had formally notified me that dogs larger than 30 pounds were not permitted in the community. Max, at 70 pounds of pure love, was apparently a violation of their community standards. I laughed at first, thinking it must be some kind of clerical error. After all, I had read the bylaws before moving in, and nowhere did it say anything about weight restrictions for pets. But as I read on, I saw the threat. If I didn't remove Max from the property within 2 weeks, I would face escalating fines and potential legal action. My laughter turned into rage. Max wasn't just a dog, he was family. There was no way I was giving him up. I decided to go straight to the next HOA meeting to clear things up. Max trotted along beside me, his tail wagging as if he sensed none of the tension. The moment we walked in, all eyes turned on us. At the head of the table sat Karen, the HOA president, with her perfect blonde bob and a permanent scowl etched across her face. I calmly pointed out that the bylaws I signed contained no such restriction. Karen sneered and replied, "We recently updated them. You should have kept up." That's when I knew this wasn't just about rules, it was about control. And Karen clearly didn't like being challenged. She wasted no time. "Your dog is in violation," she announced loudly, as if delivering a court ruling. "This community has standards, and oversized animals are not allowed. You need to comply immediately." That night, frustrated and fuming, I called my brother, Daniel. He wasn't just my older brother, he was also a lawyer with years of experience in property law. I explained the situation, sent him the notices, and even forwarded a copy of the HOA's so-called updated bylaws. He called me back within an hour, chuckling. "This is a joke," he said. "They can't just change bylaws without a proper vote and notification. What they're doing is completely illegal." Daniel told me not to worry, and that he'd be flying in for the next HOA meeting. "Let's give them a little lesson in the law," he added with a grin in his voice. For the first time since this mess started, I actually felt relieved. The next HOA meeting was packed, and it seemed half the neighborhood had come to see what would happen. I sat in the front row with Max at my side, while Daniel stood confidently at the podium, a thick binder of legal documents in his hand. He laid out the facts. The HOA had not followed proper procedures to amend the bylaws, and their threats were a violation of both contract law and state property statutes. Their so-called restriction was unenforceable. Karen tried to argue, but every time she opened her mouth, he even pointed out that Karen herself had approved a waiver for her friends.